The history of Egypt has always been an unpredictable case for archaeologists, historians, and scientists. The lack of remains and connectivity has led historians to come up with believable theories to figure out the reason behind the mummification of bodies, cryptic drawings on the walls, and all other artifacts that were found buried in the pyramids. And while you can say it's a case of better timing, Egyptologists believe it's a miracle that a tunnel under the Taposiris Magna temple, west of the ancient city of Alexandria, which they have suggested could lead to the tomb of Queen Cleopatra, has been discovered when the centenary of the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun was being celebrated. But before getting into too much detail, let's take a quick look at the history of Egypt and figure out what makes this discovery a milestone in the history of archaeology. Situated on the fertile banks of the Nile River, the Kingdom of Egypt has always been one of the greatest and most powerful civilizations in the history of the world. Let it be its culture, treasure, or history, Egypt has always been wealthy and royal in all its aspects. A civilization that lasted over 3,000 years, faced many attacks, and was robbed multiple times. The history of Egypt never fails to surprise the whole world. The first to conquer Egypt was the Assyrian Empire, followed 100 or so years later by the Persian Empire, also known as the Achaemenids Empire. Following this, in 332 BC, Macedonian ruler Alexander the Great conquered Egypt as he toppled the Achaemenids and established the short-lived Macedonian Empire, which gave rise to the Hellenistic Ptolemaic Kingdom, founded in 305 BC by one of Alexander's former generals, Ptolemy I Soter, who set up his own ruling family called the Ptolemaic dynasty. The Ptolemies had to fight native rebellions and were involved in foreign and civil wars that led to the decline of the kingdom and its final annexation by Rome. The death of Cleopatra ended the nominal independence of Egypt, resulting in Egypt becoming one of the provinces of the Roman Empire. But the thing which remained common in all the dynasties was building pyramids to give a farewell to their loved ones, wishing them a happy afterlife. The pyramids are no normal architectural structures built to bury the mummy. It's a treasure of culture, history, and wealth. The walls of the pyramids have always told us a vast number of stories that point to many different things at the same time. The study of this part of history holds so many aspects that a dedicated field of study has been introduced as Egyptology. The extraction of mummies from the pyramids has always been an area of interest for history lovers, but its importance became unarguable with the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun in the Valley of Kings. And this discovery marked the start of a new era for the buried history of Egypt. From time to time, many tombs and mummies have been discovered, some fully intact, others broken or damaged. But every mummy has its own story to tell. And while historians claim Cleopatra to be the most famous queen of ancient Egypt, her mummy has never been found, and neither has her tomb. So when the news of discovering a tunnel underneath a temple in the ancient ruined city of Taposiris Magna on the Egyptian coast came out, that archaeologists described as a vast spectacular tunnel and experts referred to as a geometric miracle, the whole world was left stunned. During ongoing excavations and exploration of the temple, Kathleen Martinez of the University of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic and colleagues uncovered the structure 13 meters below the ground. The 2-meter-tall tunnel had been hewn through an incredible 1,305 meters, or 4,281 feet of sandstone. Its design, according to the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, is remarkably similar to the 1,036-meter tunnel of Eupalinos, a 6th century BCE aqueduct on the Greek island of Samos, often referred to as a marvel of engineering. The conduit was unprecedented in design and construction in its day. The excavations uncovered a huge religious center with 3 sanctuaries, a sacred lake, more than 1,500 artifacts, busts, statues, gold coins, a huge collection of coins representing Alexander the Great, Queen Cleopatra, and the Ptolemies. The most interesting discovery is the complex of tunnels leading to the Mediterranean Sea and the sunken structures, Kathleen Martinez said in an interview. The temple, the team believes, was dedicated to the god Osiris and his queen, the goddess Isis, the deity with whom Cleopatra courted a strong association. Coins bearing the names and likeness of Cleopatra and Alexander the Great have been found here, as well as figurines of Isis, indicating that there might be some important pieces of history buried there that can change our understanding for the better. And it is to be noted that the Taposiris Magna tunnel isn't without equal. Its engineering is nonetheless just as impressive. Parts of the Taposiris Magna tunnel are submerged in water, though putting aside its resemblance to the Eupalinos tunnel, its purpose is currently unknown. Martinez, who has been working in Taposiris Magna since 2004 in search of the lost tomb of Cleopatra VII, believes that the tunnel could be a promising lead. Previously, the excavations have yielded clues that seem to point to the famous queen and the last of the Ptolemies. But why is this discovery terrific, and how can it rewrite history? While the tombs of many famous historical rulers are still standing, the mausoleum of Augustus, Antony, and Cleopatra's mortal enemy in Rome is one example, their contents have often been looted and lost centuries ago. One notable exception is a tomb of Philip II of Macedon, the father of Alexander the Great, uncovered at Virginia in the late 1970s. The tomb was found intact, and this has enabled decades of scientific investigation into its contents, advancing our knowledge of the members of the Macedonian royal family and their court. The same would be true if Cleopatra's tomb were discovered and found to be intact. The number of new information Egyptologists, classicists, ancient historians, and archaeologists could glean from its contents would be immense. For the most part, our knowledge of Cleopatra and her reign comes from ancient Greek and Roman literary sources, written after her death and inherently hostile to the Egyptian queen. Nevertheless, it's too early to tell if the new tunnel could lead to these long-lost tombs, but future work could yield more information. And as the then Minister for Antiquities, Zahi Hawass, said 13 years ago, if we discover the tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, it'll be the most important discovery of the 21st century. If we did not discover the tomb of Cleopatra and Mark Antony, we would have made major discoveries here, inside the temple and outside the temple. Though the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb is yet to be done, the pyramid has already started unearthing crucial mummies and artifacts that can reshape the whole world's history. In later months, archaeologists conducting excavations at the Temple of Taposiris Magna in western Alexandria, Egypt, unearthed a 2,000-year-old mummy with a gold tongue. According to reports, researchers from a dual Egyptian-Dominican mission discovered the golden-tongued mummy while surveying 16 poorly preserved burials encased in rock-cut crypts, a popular form of interment during Egypt's Greco-Roman period. Crafted out of gold, foil, the tongue-shaped amulet was likely placed in the deceased mouths to ensure that they'd be able to speak in the afterlife, as per a statement from Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. It was believed that if the individual encountered Osiris, god of the underworld, in his domain, they would have needed a way to communicate with the deity, notes Owen Yaris for Live Science. The team is unsure whether the mummy has a speech impediment in life and why exactly the artificial tongue was made of gold. In the statement, lead archaeologist Kathleen Martinez of the University of Santo Domingo says that two of the most significant mummies found at the site were wrapped in gilded cartonnage or plastered layers of linen and papyrus. One of the mummies sported golden decorations depicting Osiris, while the other wore a horned crown with a cobra snake affixed to its band and a necklace featuring a falcon, the symbol of the god of Horus. The researchers also discovered the remains of ancient scrolls buried alongside the mummies. Other highlights of the most recent excavation include a woman's nearly full-body funeral mask, statues portraying peoples interred at the site, and 8 marble masks dated to the Greek and Roman eras per the statement. Per the statement, the statues depicting people buried at the site were well preserved. Archaeologists could still distinguish their hairstyles, headdresses, and facial features. Though scholars don't know exactly when these individuals died, it's reported that they lived under the Ptolemaic dynasty or during the early days of Roman rule, which began with Cleopatra's death in 13th BC. So the experts will continue to explore the site and document their findings until they can find something which can lead us to a new direction. And that was all we had for you guys today. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and comment before exiting. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, do click on that red button and turn on the notification to be updated about our channel. We'll meet next time with an even more exciting video. Until then, take care.